Alright, here is the video for the Mondo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1/6 scale Leonardo figure. There's a nice packaging. It's got the Nickelodeon logo because I guess everything is done through them now, all the licensing, but there's a nice shot of all the turtles there on the back. It is based off the old the comics, although you do get a blue mask as well. And inside, nice little protective sheet there. And there's the Leonardo figure itself in the package with all of his accessories. So you get the red masked head. And then there's a whole tray of stuff underneath there. The cannon. And then some neat little control art here on the inside of the box. So nice figure, very cool. Nice packaging. Thank you to Mondo. Let's go ahead and look at the figure itself. And here he is. Bring the camera down just a little. Actually, we can lower it. A little bit in line, more right, dead on. Look at it. Go ahead and brighten it up a little as well. There we go. So here is Leonardo in his action figure form. You can see he's got his blue masked head on, as well as his katanas are already in his hand. Just to say, 1/6 scale for a Ninja Turtle is about 10 inches, so a little shorter than your average human, which is correct. He comes with a whole pile of accessories here. First off, we do have his red masked head, which we'll swap out here in a minute and show off. They all have red masks in the old comics, even though the comics are black and white. A little Splinter, teaching his ninja poses. A baby Leonardo. So cute. Let's see if I can't get this. Rearrange this light a little bit. Good enough. Comes with a grappling hook. The rope's all tied around it. You can untie it and have them use it as a grappling hook, but a little grappling hook accessory which you can hold. Krang laser, or Utrom. Comes with some throwing stars, a couple different variations of throwing star. You get 2 each of these. A pointy leader hand. You can see they do have disc joints. I think this is what these are called. I call them paddle joints because it looks like a paddle with the handle, but disc joints there. And then a couple of grappling hook, or not grappling hook, but climbing claw hands as well. And for the exclusive, this one is the exclusive version. Again, it's not a necessary piece, but it comes with Shredder's trashed little gauntlet there. Neat little extra. On to articulation. We'll go ahead and get this stuff out of the way here. He's actually fairly articulated, although again, you do want to be careful with the disc joints. I've seen at least one where one of the legs has snapped because of those disc joints. You've got a rotational joint there at the upper thigh, and then it rotates within the leg itself. But again, there's a disc joint there, so you don't want to try to spread his leg out to the side without lifting it up and rotating that joint, or you'll end up snapping that peg. I've seen it happen. He's got dual hinge knees for a good range of motion in the feet. He does have kind of an angled paddle joint there on the foot, so you get a little bit of range of motion there at the ankle, as well as some ankle tilt, some side to side there. Like I said, the disc joint at the hip and at the knees. Disc joints in the hands themselves, so it rotates at the peg as well as along the disc there. Swivel at the elbow. Another paddle joint. Bicep swivel, paddle joint here in the shoulder, or swivel joint here in the shoulder. The head's on a ball joint, and it does like to pop off The joint doesn't, the socket in the head does not come all the way down and around the ball joint like you generally see on ball joints, possibly to help facilitate the swapping of the heads. So it is possible to pop his head off while you're moving it around, but it is on a ball joint. And quite nice. I love the paint detail all over these things. Nice green shells, some nice sculpting, the scratches and such there in the shells themselves. He does have his sheaths. You can take the swords out of his hand. And again, they're tough vinyl hands, so you kind of have to, I don't want to risk snapping the sword doing it, so you kind of have to wiggle them out, and sometimes you may have to pry the fingers apart a little bit, especially right out of the package. But then you can sheath the swords back here. So just like on the old original Turtles, my biggest fear is that I'm going to end up snapping this blade, because it is fairly thin in proportion to everything else, because everything else is so big and chunky on him that you do want to be careful. And it gets a little, especially since it gets a little, I won't say stuck, but there's some resistance about halfway down in the sheaths. They just tighten a little bit. And it may just be because I haven't kept the swords in there. Maybe those will loosen up with time as well. But yeah, really nice Leonardo figure. I'm looking forward to the rest of them. They do have, I think all the different turtles are different colors like the original toys, not like the comic where they were all roughly the same color. They will come with their different color bandanas, as well as a red bandana. And the socket on the red head seems to me to be a little smaller than the one, you can actually even look at it. It is slightly smaller in diameter than the one on the blue head. And maybe that's just because this one came already on the post and this one just hasn't stretched out yet, having not been on the post for so long. But getting the red head to stay on, I mean, getting it to stay on is okay. It'll sit there just fine, but getting it all the way on has thus far proved a little troublesome, and I don't want to risk snapping or breaking anything forcing this head on. Now, it may also be that that's intentional, because in the comic versions, they did kind of have longer necks, and I'm wondering if maybe that's supposed to be evocative of that, because you can still pose the head on the ball joint with it not all the way down, but it doesn't seem to sit as far down as the blue head does. And of course, there's a little tail here that can rotate, because that's how they were drawn in the comics with the tails. And again, the hands can swap out. They're on little posts, and I really don't want to do this on camera because I don't want to risk snapping one of those pegs, but from not doing that, but you can swap out any of the hands and give them their climbing claws. Like I said, do be very careful, because you don't want to snap one of these pegs, pulling him in and out, although it's actually less scary than I thought. So you can give him his, "We must go to battle," pointing finger, his leader finger, I think as they called it. And this is a quick size comparison. Here he is with one of the current Nickelodeon version toys. So, again, 10 inches tall. He's actually quite significant. There's a nice amount of heft to him. But a really nice kickoff to the Mondo Turtles line. Can't wait to get the other 4. Or the other 3, I guess. Because I'm really happy with them. I like the accessories. I like the little baby Leo. And I'm looking forward. I know a couple of them come with some Utroms. There's going to be all sorts of little accessories to go with them that will help bring this to life. I think there's a Mouser set coming out, and hopefully these do well enough, and we might get even more figures like Casey and April and Shredder and some of them, so that would be really cool. But all in all, a very nice start to the Mondo Turtles line. The Leonardo Mondo exclusive 1/6 Ninja Turtle collectible figure. Definitely gets a thumbs up.